I like to go with the flow. That's a wonderful way to travel, but in Japan, maybe not the best. Hi everyone, it's Abby from PiQtour. I'm a photographer and guide in Japan. And travel is exciting, but creating an itinerary often gets pushed aside or super overdone. So today, I'll introduce how to create an itinerary specifically tailored for traveling in Japan. Let me start by saying that you should definitely do some research before your trip. And once you start, the more you dig in, the more stuff you'll want to do, and before you know it, you might find yourself down a rabbit hole looking at Japanese apartment listings or work visa requirements before you've even booked your flight. But let's walk through the basic steps of planning your Japan trip. So first we'll talk about setting your purpose, and then timing, budget strategy, choosing what to do, and then we're going to craft one day's mock itinerary together. So the very first official step is of course booking your flight. And given how expensive flights can be and the fact that Tokyo, Osaka, and Kyoto are basically must visits, it's recommended to stay in Japan for at least a week, preferably 2 weeks if possible, unless you live somewhere very close by to Japan. So first up, don't start with where should I go? Start with why do I want to go? I'm guessing most of you just want to experience Japan, like really feel what makes it Japan, and honestly that is totally fine. After that, ask yourself, do you want to run around and see as much of Japan as humanly possible? Do you want to chill out and relax? Maybe both. And there's so many different ways to experience Japan, so this is the next thing to figure out. For example, maybe you want to soak in hot springs and just chill out. Or maybe you're all about Japanese food culture. Or maybe you'd rather wander around the city snapping photos. Or maybe you're traveling with family and you just want everyone to be comfortable. Or maybe with each city you can have a different purpose. In Tokyo, we shop and enjoy techie stuff. In Hakone, we rest and recoup. In Kyoto, we visit historical sites. In Osaka, we eat. And at this point, you don't need to nail down specific cities or tourist spots yet. But here's why having a theme helps. Later on, when you're cutting things from your itinerary, it's way easier to say, oh, this adds too much travel time and kills the vibe. Or, I could do this back home, it's not really that Japanese. So basing these things off of what you have already decided beforehand. And once you've got this purpose figured out, you'll naturally start to see how many days you need and what kind of areas make sense for you. Next up, when can you actually go and for how long? There's a few things to keep in mind for Japan. Cherry blossom season, fall foliage, and summer break are packed and will be more pricey. Off-season, like rainy season or winter, can be easier to get around and they can be cheaper. Your first day is basically just travel, and your last day is going to be pretty light as well. And jet lag is real. It's real. So even at this stage, don't dive into a detailed daily schedule yet, just think big picture. Like your arrival and departure days aren't full sightseeing days, so maybe plan something light. Stuff that you'd be fine with skipping if you're too tired. And if you're moving between cities, that's gonna eat up at least half a day, maybe a whole day. Big cities like Tokyo and Kyoto have tons of different areas to explore, so you're looking at least 2 to 3 days each. In Tokyo alone, you've got Asakusa, Shibuya, and Harajuku, Tsukiji and Toyoso, team labs, and that's just to get started. So this is how you start getting a realistic feel for how many days you actually need. Once you've got this purpose and you've got your time frame, now you can pick your cities and your areas. So try not to switch hotels too much. It eats up time and energy. Honestly, I promise it's just a waste of time. And the same goes for cramming in too many cities. If you want to do more cities, stick the ones that are about an hour apart, like Osaka, Kyoto, and Nara. Pick one as your home base and do day trips from there. Also try to plan your route in a straight line without backtracking. For example, and obviously as an extreme example, going Tokyo, Kyoto, Hakone, Osaka would be super inefficient. It's way better to do Tokyo, Hakone, Kyoto, Osaka. Seems obvious, but this is just an example of make sure you think about, does my route make sense? If your trip's under 7 days, stick to 2 cities. If it's 8 to 10 days, around 3 cities is a sweet spot. If it's your first time in Japan, Tokyo plus the Kansai area, Kyoto, Osaka, Nara, is a solid combo. Throw Hakone in between Tokyo and Kansai if you have time, and you've got a nearly perfect trip. Just compare that with, of course, what you personally want to do. So in Japan, airfare, accommodation, and transportation such as the Shinkansen will make up a very, very large portion of expenses. If you reduce these, your overall cost will of course drop quickly. However, this does not mean making everything cheaper is better. What matters here is not simply cutting, but allocating, deciding where to place emphasis. So as a basic rule of thumb, spend on location, fewer hotel moves, direct trains, and occasional taxis. Save on room size, hotel amenities you will not use, fancy breakfasts, and things of that sort. So in Japan, hotel prices are not per room only, but they increase according to the number of guests. So for a couple, of course, the price will vary significantly, but around 12,000 to 22,000 yen per night is common for a normal hotel near a station, and for a family, maybe 30 to 45,000 yen if you have young kids staying in the same room. Rooms are small here, but they are comfortable. But the 2 American king-size bedrooms don't exist here, but that's okay. Your room might be small, but that's okay because you're going to be out enjoying the world. And I've said it before and I'll say it again, hotels in Japan are all nice, by the way. They are all nice, they are all safe, and spending big bucks on big name hotels is honestly unnecessary unless the main point of your day, of course, is to spend time in your hotel. However, do not compromise on hotel location. 80% or so of your travel burden honestly depends on where you stay. Avoiding unnecessary train taking all the time is optimal. It's also fine to use taxis occasionally, during the day or at night, or as much as you want. If you want convenience, choose a hotel within a 5 to 7 minute walk from a major station on a line with fewer transfers. Aim for the center of a sightseeing area rather than the edge. That way your hotel can always serve as a rest point, allowing you to enjoy more time comfortably. Add contrast and intention to how you allocate your lodging budget. Also, of course, good onsen, ryokan can cost several times more than normal hotels, but the ryokan is the point of your day, as I said earlier. So wearing yukata, enjoying hot springs, having breakfast brought to your room. In this case, you're allocating money to something enjoyable, not just a fancy room you'll only see at night with your eyes closed. So at this point, write down specific sightseeing spots and foods you want to try. Search them while tagging them according to your travel purpose. I also recommend creating a habit where every time you see something interesting on YouTube or TikTok, you save the location in Google Maps or whatever map app you use. I'm not sponsored. And it'll help you understand location. And oftentimes you'll see a cute place on TikTok and it's like in the middle of nowhere. So finally, you move on to creating your daily schedule. So important points here. Set priorities. Must see items first. If there's room, add secondary options depending on weather. Keep business hours in mind. Shrines are generally open 24 hours, but temples and many other places, castles, often close earlier in the evening. Leave sufficient buffer time. Avoid overpacking. 1 area per day is the basic rule. At most, maybe 2 well-connected areas, 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon. Prioritize the overall experience rather than just photogenic spots, especially for natural scenery, which depends heavily on weather and season and timing and your photography skills. Plan carefully and allow flexibility to adjust your schedule as needed. Add contrast to budget allocation within the itinerary. So sightseeing itself is incredibly affordable. Shrines are pretty much free. Temples are maybe like 300 to 500 yen. Castles maybe just a little bit more than that. So you're not going to be spending big money really on these activities. So maybe upgrade your experience by doing things like using taxis, rickshaws, or maybe hiring a guide. Food is also relatively affordable. There's no need to eat high-end meals every day. You can enjoy many, many delicious dishes for just a few dollars. Seriously. So mix your luxury and your casual options. Spend money where it reduces stress and increases your satisfaction. Also, think about your daily step count. Plan to reduce unnecessary walking. Each person's limit is different, but try not to exceed it drastically. Without careful planning, it is very, very easy to walk 20 to 30,000 steps per day in Japan, which somehow has been normalized, which it does not need to be normal. For walks longer than 15 minutes, consider maybe just taking transportation. Take breaks after walking around sightseeing spots. Give yourself a break, please. But also, if you're not used to this, consider doing some walking training before your trip. It will really help you. And I'm gonna really at my Americans with that one. Don't write your plan assuming everything must be completed. The key is have your ideas, have your alternatives. This is a draft. This is not an order from your past self. Flexibility, organicness, that will increase your travel satisfaction as well. All right, so now keeping these tips in mind, let's actually create a one-day schedule in Tokyo together. Here's how I do this. So Asakusa is a must-see spot. So let's go to Asakusa. Near Senso-ji Temple, there are attractions such as Tokyo Skytree and Kappabashi kitchenware town. Skytree is a landmark of Japan, and Kappabashi sells cooking tools that form the foundation of Japanese food culture, and it feels very Japanese. If you think more carefully about the elements, many conditions will appear. How much time each place requires? Where should I eat lunch? What is the best time to visit each of these spots? And so on. So first, research approximate time requirements. If it feels enjoyable, move on to detailed research. Looking at the overall structure of Senso-ji, it can be divided into Kaminarimon Gate, Nakamise Street, and the main hall. Around the area, there are also Happy Street, Dimboin Street, and the Asakusa Tourist Information Center. Research each of these as well. For Kappabashi, check store opening hours and consider the distance from Asakusa. In principle, it's best to connect places in a continuous flow without backtracking, but don't forget that if you strategize too well, you'll end up non-stop walking your beautiful, perfect route without ever resting because there was no taxi time, there was no train time, so include rest time in this where you are forced to sit down. After researching one area like this, you're going to assemble your puzzle. Surprisingly, or maybe less surprisingly for people like myself, the anchor of your route may easily become your lunch or your meal in that area. So this time, since we've decided to have lunch around Happy Street, which has many restaurants, we will build the route so that we arrive to lunch there in Happy Street around noon. But other timing things to consider. We want to go to Skytree. Skytree really requires reservations, so that part is not going to be able to move. As for the best time slot, many people think twilight is ideal, so you can see both the sunset and then the night view. So let's assume now that we've booked the 5:15 p.m. Skytree ticket. That means, including travel time, we have flexibility in the schedule until around 4 p.m. One of the main highlights, Senso-ji Temple, is open 24 hours for worship. But many shops along Nakamise Street don't open till 10 a.m. Many stores in Kappabashi open between 10 and 11 a.m. So, is there nothing to do before then? Well, the Asakusa Tourist Information Center opens at 9 a.m. And it's not a place where you're probably going to spend a full hour, so arriving around 9:30 a.m. is fine. You are, of course, also welcome to take it easy in the morning or enjoy a light breakfast in Shinjuku, where I'm assuming you're staying, taking a refreshing walk around there in Shinjuku Central Park, or relaxing with a morning bath at your hotel. So, like I said, assuming you're staying in Shinjuku, which has convenient access to Hakone, famous for hot springs and ryokan you might want to enjoy later, and also allows you to enjoy nightlife, such as Golden Gai. But if it were me, I'm going to use Google Maps to set my arrival at Kaminarimon and Asakusa for around 9:30 a.m. and depart from Shinjuku Station. You're going to see the route details, and ideally you will arrive early enough in case you get lost. So depending on your hotel's location, leaving the lobby around 8:30 a.m. will work. Now we will arrive at Asakusa Station around 9:30 a.m. and we will head to the observation deck at the Asakusa Tourist Information Center and enjoy a lovely view at the top. Finally, around 10 a.m., many shops along Nakamise Street are finally opening. We will take a picture with Kaminarimon, and then we will enter Nakamise Street. We will browse sweets and souvenirs, and since lunch is coming, we will try not to eat too much. We will enjoy incense and fortunes, and then check the lucky amulets they have. We will, of course, pray at the main hall, and then we will go over to Happy Street. There, we will have a lovely meal and some happy, while finally resting our legs. By this point, it will likely be just afternoon. However, spending 4 straight hours at Kappabashi might be too much. So other options we can consider may be including a cafe, nearby attractions, or sightseeing around Skytree. But since we've already been doing a lot of like visit-style sightseeing, maybe we should add an experience. So let's book a hands-on activity at the Samurai Ninja Museum, or maybe let's enjoy the amusement park at Hanayashiki. At the base of Skytree, there's also Sumida Aquarium, which is a good option if we like to look at fish. If you're a little bit hungry and plan to have dinner around Skytree, there's also many restaurants around Solamachi and Oshiage Station. If we are a couple wanting a romantic dinner, and if budget and dress code are not a concern, maybe we schedule a luxury dinner at the Skytree observation deck. So at this point, our itinerary perhaps is looking a little something like this. Shinjuku to Asakusa Station. 9:30 a.m., Asakusa Tourist Information Center. 10 a.m., Nakamise Street, street snacks, buying incense, wafting smoke over ourselves. Fortunes, amulets, prayer. Around noon, lunch. 1 p.m., Samurai Ninja Museum. From 2 p.m., about 2 hours at Kappabashi Kitchenware Town. Afterwards, take a taxi to Tokyo Skytree. If the timing shifts, maybe we feel slightly hungry, we'll take a break at a cafe inside Solamachi. At 5:15 p.m., we will take the elevator to the Skytree observation deck. We will watch the sunset. We will enjoy the blue hour. Around 7 p.m., maybe we have dinner at Musashi at the 345-meter level. Then we will return to our hotel in Shinjuku. Looking at the completed itinerary, you can see that it's not just a checklist of places to visit. It combines major sites, street food, a local-style lunch, unique experiences, shopping, cafe breaks, and a romantic dinner with a spectacular view. It's a busy day, but it's also structured to conserve our energy. It doesn't overdo places you also need to be at a certain time, which can become very, very stressful. If after watching this, you feel like creating something like this is overwhelming, you're in luck, because we have started offering itinerary planning services. Yay! So last October, Tape passed the National Certification Exam. In November, our travel agency registration was completed, and we officially became a licensed travel company. This allows us to legally provide travel consultation services. So that is the whole method. Start with why, decide when, be intentional with your budget, collect ideas, lots of ideas, and then build a day that actually flows. Just remember, your itinerary is not a checklist. It is simply a stress reduction tool. And if you end your trip thinking, I could do Japan again, you planned it right. So that's it. Have an amazing trip.